What?
Hello and welcome to the Anomaly Podcast. My name is Angela. My first Christmas gift this year was a handmade Wonder Woman apron, and I am an anomaly.
My name is Jen, and I grew out my short hair specifically for cosplay, and I am an anomaly.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Welcome to this special edition of Anomaly. We'll be talking about Comic-Con
2013.
This is obviously a vidcast. Stitcher Radio listeners, you're going to be just hearing our show. If you'll go to our website and click on the show notes, you'll find the video so that you can watch it there. And it's much better when you see the pictures in the video, I think.
It is, but we'll try to keep the commentary lively. Well, some of the coolest things that happened first was we got to meet Rico.
Yes. It was like one of the best things ever.
That was probably the best part. We've known him technically for many years. 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many years. This is the first time we actually met in person, and it was pretty much exactly how I thought it would go.
It was kind of like a reunion. Like, we already knew him.
We
had already met and known him forever, and it was just like we just picked up where we should have left off kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was an unusually cold weekend in Texas.
Yes.
And we blamed him because he brought all of his cold weather.
He was cold too, and that's saying a lot because he's from Michigan.
Yeah, he's from Michigan, and even he was cold. We had a lot of fun. Next time we do this, we will take you for barbecue or bring you barbecue. We just don't like to drive a lot when we go to con because once you get your car there, you don't want to go anywhere, and that's why we stay in a hotel instead of driving, so... We'll find a way to do barbecue the next time you come down.
That was for Rico because he complained on his Comic-Con report, which is also a video report that you should check out. We took him for sushi one night, and we had Irish stew another night at a bar.
But it was really good.
And it fit the weather.
You know what I was thinking is that maybe what we'll do is just have him come like a day early and we can go out to Salt Lake. You know, you can't really do that during con.
No, it's just out in the boonies.
Because it's out in the boonies, but it's really for Texas barbecue, Hill Country barbecue. It's the best way to go.
Agreed.
I am referring to my cool list that I have that I make for all of our con trips.
Angela's very organized.
I am very organized, but especially when you have the booth and there always has to be someone at the booth, you have to be organized. Well, we were very happy to have the booth. That was cool. You guys found it first, you and Casey.
We had to have lots of help because... though we love Comic-Con, not very organized.
They were not very organized. And I think that it had something to do, which is good. I think it had something to do with the fact that the con grew a lot.
By 30%.
Yeah, by 30%, which is a lot. We don't want to complain because what they do for us is amazing. But it was just awkward and sort of disappointing because we were facing a wall. and you'll see in some of our pictures, we did have a nice gray background.
Yeah, we really popped.
We really did pop against the gray background, but it was disappointing because we were just kind of at the end of the con, and last year we were at the edge of the con, but we were facing out. So we could see everybody.
And more people could see us.
The cool thing is that they asked for feedback, and we have already talked to them about that, so hopefully we'll see something cooler next year. So the first day was Friday, and...
we're pretty organized, and we theme our group. But on Friday, we just got there, and we wanted to be able to be whatever we wanted to be. So I dressed in my Jedi costume that I purchased on Etsy, and I will put a link in the show notes to the vendor that I purchased from because she's awesome. Her name is Aline. And
look good.
She's very good at what she does. And our friend Sith Jen wore a Black Widow costume, and she rocked it.
She did. So she was going to do her Sith costume the first day too, but then she ran across this Black Widow and decided she wanted to do it. And when she tried it on, she liked it, and she looked awesome. So it really worked out. And Jim and I did our Vala and Daniel, which... not a lot of people know Stargate, and especially the last few seasons, but it was fun for us. And the people who did know were happy to see us, so that was kind of cool.
You looked good. You looked very good. And there were a lot of cute pictures taken of you and Jim together, like looking at each other adoringly.
Yeah, everyone who was a Stargate fan definitely got what we were doing. And Jim loved his costume. He still wears his jacket like he wore it yesterday.
Oh, good.
With Jackson on it and everything.
Yeah.
He loves that thing, so.
We also met lots of really cool people at Comic-Con.
We did.
We were flanked by another Ghostbusters fan club. We thought they were the same ones from last year, but they weren't. And then a gentleman who was doing a charity. It was a Star Trek Online Guild.
Cool.
And he was collecting for a children's group.
Saturday was Rockstar Day.
Star Trek, the original series, Rockstar Day.
Yes.
The reason we say that is because we went all out. We didn't just buy costumes, as we mentioned in our Costuming 101 episode. We did hair and makeup as well.
Yeah.
And we had a pro do it for us.
We did.
Sith Jen. She's very talented.
She did. She did our hair, and we did hair and makeup, and we did it as close as possible. We all had props. And Rico also had a TOS costume.
From Anavos.
Should I tell a story about the dresses?
Definitely.
Well, Jen and Stephanie were smart, and they ordered their dresses really early, but Sith Jen and I were being lazy, and we just didn't order our dresses as quickly as we should have from CosplaySky. And we ordered them with enough time, but it was getting down to the wire, and we both started panicking because we had not received them the Monday before con. We went through Amazon, and we found basically Amazon has an Anavos dealer that sells one-offs and stuff, which are a little cheaper than the regular Anavos, but they're still Anavos quality. I got a red one, Jen got a blue one. We both bought Anavos dresses because they were sold by Amazon. They could be here in 2 days, and so we just bought them.
As backups. Because Amazon is good about returns, and I didn't know if I got the other one, if I would be able to return it. So I thought, well, if I end up with both of them, that's fine. But if I get the other one, before con, then I can return this one without wearing it, which is what I wanted to do. But I happened to get them both the same day. So that was interesting. And one of them came from China.
Yeah, one of them from
CosplaySky.
China. That's the one from CosplaySky. Like we talked about in the Cosplay podcast.
The 101
episode. Costuming is that part of the reason that it's hard to make your own costumes for Star Trek is that it's hard to find the fabric. You could buy the fabric, the right color, the right material, and you're going to spend almost as much on that as you would on a fully made costume, and you have to make it yourself. So we don't have time for that. So we went ahead and just spent, it was about $100 for the one that we ordered from CosplaySky. And full disclosure, the one from Amazon/Anavos was about $200. It was a little over $200. A real one from Anavos Direct is about $300, but they're cheaper on Amazon because I think that they're like either defective. It's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got both of them at the same time, and it was interesting because I tried them both on, and they both fit. But the weird thing is the seaming was slightly different, and the collars were slightly different. And on the Anavos one, it was actually warmer, like it was thicker, and the sleeves were too tight, like almost uncomfortably tight. But I did like it. Like it was the fact that it had Star Trek, a Star Trek label in it. And I did like the way that it felt. Like it felt a little more like a Star Trek dress.
Polished.
It felt more polished. But then the other one, I remember you and I talking about it because I called you.
Yeah.
And they really had similar, and then the other thing about the Anavos one that I didn't like was because of the way that the flap happens. If you look at the costume, you can see how you have the little flap on the front. Well, the one in the back, on the Anavos one, it was literally, you open the flap and it's bare ass. Oh, sorry.
You can say that, I guess.
Sorry. But the CosplaySky one had another panel. So, and we were all wearing bloomers because we understand that if you wear a TOS dress, we knew what we were getting into. We wore bloomers and tights and everything. But still, that was kind of bizarre that one did not have like an extra panel. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think, though, that the Anavos is more concerned with being screen accurate, whereas CosplaySky is designed specifically for convenience for cosplayers.
But you know what else was weird, though, is that you would think that the Anavos one would be, like, close up, would be a little bit better. But on and I just remembered this, on the logo, on the Starfleet insignia, the CosplaySky one was completely embroidered, and I took pictures of this, so remind me to give them to you. But the one from Anavos was basically a piece of gold lame that had been sewn on.
So it looked more quality from CosplaySky.
I know that sounds weird, but it was hard to make the decision, but I couldn't really return the CosplaySky one, and I'm sorry that took so long.
As we mentioned again in our Cosplay 101 episode, the CosplaySky costume is tailor-made. So you send your measurements and they make it to fit you, and it looks custom. And mine fit really well. We felt like we just stepped off the set.
Oh, I know. When I look at those pictures, I have an emotional reaction, especially seeing all of us together, because it's just the Technicolor.
Yeah.
And I think, Jen had a different thing because her cosplay Sky dress didn't come in. She wore the Anabos dress that day, and which actually worked out because Rico was also wearing blue.
And he was wearing an Anabos shirt.
He was wearing an Anabos shirt. So
they matched.
They matched.
Turned out good.
Yeah. And I don't know, since we're looking at it, you'll notice that Jim does not actually look screen accurate.
Explain Jim for the people, Angela.
I think it's kind of fun to do play on words or fun things for cosplay, as long as it's within some kind of reason. My husband had this idea all by himself. We already owned a blue and a red robe that we bought for our anniversary for each other a few years ago. And he started thinking about it, and he said, well, since all of you guys are going to be in your dresses, I should go as, like, Hugh Hefner. And I'm like, what? And so then he explained this concept to me, and I thought, that's so silly, but I love it.
And he was kind of a hit.
He was a hit. Even he went and had his picture taken with Bruce Campbell, and he had his picture taken with us with
William Shatner.
And both of them were obviously amused. The funny thing about Jim, though, is that after he had his picture taken with Bruce Campbell, he was very upset because he felt like he needed an ascot. He felt like that was the one thing that was missing from his costume was an ascot, which I think is so cute that he cared about that. But it really turned out good because we got little Tribble slippers and we went all out. And what I like about it, and I think I said this maybe on the group thing, is that when all of us went walking around together, I think it was a good anomaly presence because when you looked at me, you, Stephanie, Jen, and Rico, we were screen accurate. We were serious. All of our hair was up perfectly.
We were scanning. We were aiming at people.
We looked like an away team, and we were taking it like totally seriously. Yeah. But what I love about it is that when you add Jim into the mix, now he has the right color. He has the right insignia. The tribbles, obviously, But I think what it says to everybody is that we know how to do this, but we do not take ourselves too seriously. I don't know. I liked that.
I did too. Jim was definitely on vacation.
Oh my God. It was so cute. He's like, this is the best costume ever. We did not stop at the robe. He was wearing silk pajamas. He was so happy.
And a flask with the
Star Trek
Starfleet emblem on it.
Starfleet emblem, and we got him a captain's hat because the idea is to cross him with Kirk and Hugh Hefner, and everybody got it. That's what was cool, is that he didn't really have to explain it to anyone. People were like, Captain Hefner.
That was good.
So that was neat.
It was fun. There's a difference between costuming and cosplay. We are basically costumers, but what we learned at this con was that cosplay is taking it up a notch and playing the role also. So we were just basically taking pictures with people, which we never had a break. Everybody wanted a picture, which was awesome.
They did. It was awesome.
That's why you dress up. But the other thing that we decided to do was to march around the con as the away team. And I was, had my tricorder, and Jen had her tricorder, and you had your phaser out, and so did Stephanie. And then there was Rico, and Jim was kind of just with his pipe in his mouth looking around.
Yeah.
And Rico was constantly telling him, Captain, I would be remiss if I did not remind you that you should not be dressed in your bathrobe on an away mission. And we did catch a little bit of attention that way, and it was fun just to play and be silly and enjoy ourselves. We haven't talked much about Casey, and she dressed up too. She was such a trooper. She would, stay at the table with us, and then we'd let her go to the Doctor Who thing, which was very much at the top of her list of things she wanted to do.
It was.
And she dressed up one day as one of the doctors, and she did a really good job. And then another day she dressed up as Sherlock, and she, again, was awesome. And a rock star among college-age girls who would run over to her squeeing whenever they would see her.
She did a very good job.
She did an awesome job. One of my favorite pictures that I took at the con was of her coming out of the TARDIS on her cell phone, looking at her cell phone. And the other one I love of her is when the con was starting to empty out and it was the end of the day on Sunday, she's out in the distance in the middle of the floor, kind of looking at, in her Sherlock costume, kind of looking very serious. It was
Jim
awesome.
just started watching Sherlock like yesterday.
It's awesome. Highly recommend it. So that was that day. But before we close, we should talk about the 360 picture that we got.
You got an interview.
Yeah, we did an interview with them, which we'll put up on our website at some point, hopefully. I would like to make that a video so that we can show pictures of it.
Right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
This vendor who had a booth at the con saw us walking around and told us they would give a picture to us for free if we would stand inside of their booth, which is basically a circle with cameras all the way around. And within like a second, it shoots a picture of you. And then they turn it into an animated GIF. And we didn't even plan it. We were like,
oh no, we all just, and they didn't even tell us.
No, we weren't ready for it.
When we were just all kind of talking and thinking about it. And luckily they took the picture and then we were like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's done. And the picture looks amazing.
It was awesome, phenomenally awesome. It looked like we had just beamed down.
It did. And it's cool because like Jim, of course, has his hilarious like, hey, what's going on, guys? And the rest of us are ready for battle, and it looks like Rico and I are like talking to each other.
Yes.
Because of the way we're angled, it looks like we're on stage like talking to each other.
On walkie-talkies, because, on your communicators because little kids who have walkie-talkies often talk to each other when they're like 3 feet apart.
Don't tell Russell this, but I got him walkie-talkies for Christmas. I'm very excited.
You have to share with Aaron.
They're Batman walkie-talkies. Anyway.
So that was awesome. And what was cool was they would then display the image on a monitor outside of the booth. Yes, and people would stand in crowds around it. They said every time ours came up, it was very popular. We never got to witness that, but we personally cheered every time we saw our picture come up on the monitor.
That was very cool.
So Sunday, we went back as Jedi, Sith, and bounty hunters. You were a bounty hunter and Jim was a smuggler and that you had captured.
And so he kind of did a Han Solo kind of thing. We didn't do it. We were just trying to be characters from the game, basically. I had a blue wig that I was going to wear, but I realized halfway through the day that I was going to be taking my picture with Scott Bakula. I didn't want to have the blue wig on when I took the picture, and so I just put my hair up in a ponytail and let it go. But the cool thing for me was I put together the costume. It's not as awesome as y'all's Jedi costumes, but I actually got complimented by myself.
You did. People liked them.
People really liked my costume, and I thought, that's cool. I was very happy about that.
It was good. Y'all looked good. Rico didn't want to carry his lightsaber onto the plane, so he just wore his robe and his tunic, which still looked awesome.
I think next year he should just ship it to us.
I think so, too. I was a Jedi from the Clone Wars era, and our friend Jen was a Sith.
Obviously.
Yeah, it worked out awesome. We had a really good group shot, and then Jen and I did a Sith versus Jedi picture also with the 360 cam people. We were very popular with the little kids, I have to say.
You and Jen were with your lightsabers.
The lightsabers were very,
I was so busy that
they were
day.
like magnets.
I was so busy that day because that was also the day that Jim got his picture and signature from Kaylee from Jewel State. And we also we went to the Jewel State panel. And we didn't talk about the panels, so we'll just do that next.
We did panels and we didn't, well, first we should talk about getting our picture taken with William Shatner.
Yes, so on Saturday when we were in all of our getup, the reason why we did it was because we knew we were getting our picture taken with William Shatner. Yeah. And we thought, you know what? It's relatively easy to get this done. We're going to be in regular TOS dresses when we do this. Mm-hmm. He was very amused when he saw us walk out.
He said, look at you two.
This is my claim to fame that's funny, is that we bought 2 pictures, because originally I bought 1 picture and it was just going to be me and Jen, but then Jim decided he wanted to be in a picture with me too. The whole idea was we were going to go in and it was going to be like me and Jen, and then switch out and then me and Jim. And you'll see, we'll put the pictures up and that's what happened. But the photographer got confused and tried to take a picture of all 4 of us, and I'm just being Angela at that moment. I don't even care that William Shatner is sitting right there. And I'm like, wait. It was a complete Angela moment. And William Shatner thought it was so funny that I did.
He was like, do that again.
And he goes, do it again. Do it again. Say, wait. Say it. Say, wait. And he did that like 6 times. Say it. Say, wait. And I think he was even like messing up the pictures on purpose because the guy took like 3 pictures of us because he just thought it was so amusing to make fun of me. And I'm like, yes, I got made fun of by William Shatner. That's rules.
It was fun. We got to see a panel with him and Scott Bakula too.
It was cool.
It was cool. You cannot pin William Shatner down to a question because he goes off-road. He goes off-roading and he talks about everything, but it's so amusing.
The thing that was really weird about the panel,
boring,
was that, not weird, because it was cute, and the 2 of them together were adorable. But there was a lot more Scott Bakula questions, which I thought was so weird.
The audience was younger, though.
Well, no, because Scott Bakula fans are like 50-year-old women that think that they've actually gone out with Sam Beckett. It's true. I know this from experience. And
because you do?
No, I'm not one of them. That's what creeps me out. Is that when I'm around... Anyways, total long story about when I was in the picture taking line. I was so uncomfortable. So I was by myself to get my picture taken with him. And basically his fan club was like right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, get me away. And they were
We do respect fandom. Don't get me wrong.
We do, but they were talking about... I was mad at them because they were talking about the panel. And they were like, I don't know why Shatner was there. They were like, dissing Shatner. That's why I'm mad.
You know,
it's not about. I don't care how much. I don't care that they love Scott Bakula. I love Scott Bakula. I totally get it. But they were like being mean about Shatner being in the same panel, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but William Shatner is a little more famous than Scott Bakula. He's William effing Shatner. People, have some respect.
Agreed.
Anyway, and the thing I thought was weird because, of course, now I'm going to talk about Bakula. But did you think it was weird that for every other question and every time we've seen one of these, when actors talk about characters they've played, like last year, if Patrick Stewart answered a question about Professor X or Picard, he would say, well, he is this and he is that. Scott Bakula did that too, except for when he was talking about Sam Beckett. And this was cool too because I admit I am a Quantum Leap fan. And one of my favorite episodes, and Jim and I both, is The Leap Home, when he goes to, anybody who's a fan knows what this is, he goes home and then he goes to visit his, and he's like a kid. He's like a 16-year-old kid in his own body. And
it's one of my favorite episodes.
It's such a good episode on like 14 different levels. It's so well written. So when he's talking about this in the panel, he doesn't say, when Sam leaped home. He says, when I leaped home.
Yeah, so it's more personal to him.
And when I saw my father and when I saw my brother. And I just thought that was really interesting. There's no judgment one way or the other. I just thought that was very interesting how personal it was to him. And I think that's kind of cool.
I agree.
So,
but I got that vibe too about people not being as excited that William Shatner was there. Now, granted, they made William Shatner an honorary Austinite. Like, they had a little ceremony and everything for him.
Yeah, William Shatner
and he was
Day.
like a heavy hitter being there, speaking at panels and being there.
So glad we got our picture with him.
Yes, but
awesome.
I was a little surprised that we were one of maybe two groups of people that were dressed in
TOS.
the original series
not
costumes.
as well as we did.
Not everyone has a makeup artist, and I understand that. But most people were dressed in the new series. That surprised me because I thought, well, since William Shatner's going to be there, everyone's going to be dressed in these original series costumes. Because last year, when Patrick Stewart was there, everyone was in TNG costumes. If you want to pay homage, you do that. But I think it's because, one, it was the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, and
so
there was like a
Doctor
special
Who people everywhere.
We love you. And then, and there was more people, like I said, they're dressed in the new movie costumes, which I think there were new fans, and that's okay. We got our start with TOS, and so we're going to pay homage to that. And that's what we did.
A damn good job. So.
I do too. Virtual high five.
Boom.
Boom.
I have a confession for TOS Day. It was part of our conversation in the Costuming 101 that you have to be really careful about your undergarments.
Yes.
For me, one of those things was I recommended to everyone, wore Spanx because I did not want to look yucky. And I saw another girl who was very similar in size to me that did not wear Spanx, and the result was not cool.
Explain what Spanx are for those guys out there who may not know.
Spanx are like when you put on a tight-fitting, well-fitted dress, no matter who you are, because everybody in Hollywood does this too. It doesn't matter who you are, but for someone like me, it definitely is more important that you make sure to kind of smooth yourself out underneath. So when you put on the dress, it pulls you in so that it looks nice and smooth. And it doesn't matter what size you are, size 3 or size 14, 20, whatever. If you're not wearing Spanx, it may not look good. And so I put on Spanx, but I did not test myself in front of a camera. So I had Spanx that went to like my mid-thigh. Most of the pictures you can't see it because I had tights on, and so it's all black. But in several of the pictures with my camera, which is with Jim's camera, which is a really good camera, oh my gosh, it just like flashed, and there it was. right in the middle of my thigh, a big line. So I'm putting it out there because that was a lesson that I learned.
Yeah, so she's sharing with you.
I'm sharing with you my embarrassment. Definitely wear Spanx. Just be careful. Maybe cut them off if you have a short dress so that they're lower or more opaque tights. But see, I know Jen was wearing them too. She had the lighter tights, so maybe that was better. But
no, she wasn't wearing them because the thing with Spanx is you can't go to the restroom easily if you're wearing
Not
those
at all.
things. So Jen was like, to hell with that.
I sacrificed because I wanted to look awesome, and I did.
I have a confession too. I didn't wear a Spanx. I wore a slip with a built-in brassiere. Throughout the day, it walked down just a little bit. So it looks like I have saggy grandma boobs. And a few of the pictures, which I will not post on the video.
And you're not going to post the ones, because I doctored most of the ones I sent to you. I did. I doctored them. I went to my GIMP program and I cloned it out. The first time I saw it, honestly, I was just searching for us and I found it on a random person's Imager or Instagram or something account.
Somebody took a picture of us
and it was the cutest picture of the two of us, and it flashed my legs and boom, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed by that. But I'm not one to get embarrassed very easily. I like to own up to that kind of stuff. And since we talked about it in the costuming thing, I felt like it's important that yes, you should wear them if you need to. And this is not size dependent. It doesn't matter what size you are, you should wear them. But that you do have to test them out. You do have to test them out with flash if you're going to get a picture taken. You need to make sure they're shorter than whatever dress you're wearing if you're wearing a dress. But, you live and learn. And I took that bullet for you, ladies. Yeah. You're welcome. And Jen did too.
I did too. Ladies. Before I went to go have my picture taken with William Shatner, I went and made sure that my hair looked good, my makeup wasn't shiny or whatever.
We both
and I checked just make sure that everything was pushed up, but it wasn't pushed up all the way. I know, I'm not as busty.
I know that sounds silly to bring up, but I think it was important because we made a big deal out of it in the Costuming 101, so I wanted to own up.
I do think that's important that we do that.
So there you go.
So we did say we were rock stars, but we were flawed rock stars. Flaws are more interesting and perfect rock stars.
I think that in most situations, like all of Rico's pictures, we look fine.
Yeah,
we both do. And
I love those pictures with Rico too because he looks like a seasoned officer.
He does.
He looks very legit.
We do.
And he even had custom pants and boots made for that group. And he's so excited he wants to come back and do more cosplay with us.
I'm excited to see what the theme and everything is going to be next year. And I'm hoping we're going to get a bigger booth.
Yes. Well, I wanted to get this in. I know we're trying to keep it brief because it's a video and they're huge-ongo in file size. But we went out with Rico.
Dancing.
We went dancing with him.
You didn't dance either, and neither did Kate.
But you know what? My feet hurt. Those go-go boots are not very comfortable, and I wore my costume to the party because they required that of us. We walked how many blocks to Maggie Mae's? Quite a ways in the cold. With my wool coat on, I looked like I could have been from Mad Men. My beehive hairdo and my black pea coat, I look like I could have stepped off
in my costume.
Mad Men.
I don't know why I did that, but I just ran in my costume. I didn't care.
You did. But that's why I didn't dance, because my feet were freaking sore. I also kept Rico company, Casey and I did. And we didn't stay there long because we were playing Justin Bieber songs.
Oh my god, okay. Can I
Miley
talk about this?
Please do, because it was not a good thing.
Okay, first of all, I think there's several things happening at one time here. One is, last year when we had Comic-Con, and then we went out to Maggie Mae's, it was also Halloween. It was the Halloween weekend on 6th Street, which is huge. Big college town.
6th Street's a big deal in
So not
Austin.
only are all these nerdy cosplayers like us out, but it's all the normal people out in costume. And it was warmer. It was more normal for Texas. And it was a month earlier, too, but...
Well, wait a minute. It was cold.
Last year?
Yeah, it was cold, too.
It was cold, but it wasn't...
Because I didn't go party with you guys.
I know, but
it
was not as cold as... It was not even close.
Okay.
Oh, not even
Not
close.
raining.
I remember.
It was dry cold, not wet cold.
It was... Yeah, and it was not raining. And so anyway, it's an open-air bar. And everybody's out dancing because the normal people mixed in with the nerds because we were all dressed
Halloween.
up. And it's 6th Street, Halloween. So I think last year we were like, oh my god, this is so awesome. And so Stephanie and I, because we used to go dancing all the time, and so when Comic-Con comes around, this is the only time we get to go dancing again and relive our wild days of yore. So that's the oldest thing I've ever said. So we go out and we're so excited, and we make Jen come with us this time, and Rico and Casey are there too. We go out, and first of all, there's no one there because it's so flippin' cold. and it is not Halloween. And because there's only one part of the bar that's inside, there's just like a line, and every time somebody comes out, they're letting people in. It's the only warm part. And so we were like, okay, so we finally get in. And then on top of all of this, it was just uncomfortable because there was a lack of just regular people there dancing and having fun. It was all Comic-Con people. And the ones who probably could dance, I noticed they were like staying off to the side. They were in costume and stuff, but they were like staying off to the side. And it was like the people who had no couth all decided to get up on the stage. And I was just like, wow, this is really not like last year at all. And the other thing was the DJ was the worst DJ in Austin. The worst DJ, I would say the worst DJ in the world.
Again, Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus songs.
And it's not even the good ones.
No.
I don't like anything about Justin Bieber, but I admit I like pop music, and there's a couple of Miley Cyrus songs that I can stand, and I would have danced to. But he started playing the crappy ones. And then he would do this weird, like, DJ funky mix that didn't even work. It was so bad. And so we finally just left, and then we, like, talked and drank in our room for party
It was
time.
still fun. And Rico's hotel was like a block away. So he would walk to our hotel, and then we would have Jim and Jeff and Stephanie and Jen, and we would all, like, have a little drink together.
It was
or something.
so fun.
It was.
We really did.
We're looking
have a good
forward.
time.
And if you didn't,
I booked the hotel again.
if you're thinking about going and you didn't this year, please come next year because we would love to meet you. We did meet some people for the first time that were listeners. They came by our booth and said hi. So thank you to those people who did that.
Pretty
and what else did we do? Gosh, there's just so much I
know, but you're trying to make
it's
this-
difficult
we
to
did
explain how fun it was. We saw lots of really good costumes.
Jim-
I got to pose with a female stormtrooper that wasn't wearing armor with boobs. She's a member of the 501st too.
Oh, yeah. She was cool.
Yeah, and we interviewed two people too.
Yes, we did.
The 360 camera people, and also we interviewed a comic book artist who did a
That's right. I took some
steampunk
pictures.
enterprise comic book. So we'll post that eventually.
And we got interviewed, too.
Yeah, we were on a podcast called Punching Through the Walls of Reality. And we have a link on our website to that. And all of the things we've talked about will be in our show notes. So check those out. And I'm working on a gallery. So eventually, pictures will be in the gallery that you can check out and share with people.
That's true. Well, you'll probably get this after the holidays. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Happy
Kwanzaa,
Hanukkah.
whatever it is that you celebrate, winter solstice. And have a great day.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Angela.
And you've been listening to the Anomaly Podcast, where female and fandom converge.
Nice.
Fashion. Fashion. Style. Look. I'm the edge, I'm the chic, I'm the taste. I'm a larger than life with just a hint of lace. I'm the vanguard, I'm the air, I'm the vogue. I'm the she, ooh-wee. I'm the man on the mo. President Reagan, Thatcher, jazzercise, lip gloss. Ooh, you think you know fashion? Well, fashion's a stranger. You think fashion's your friend, my friend? Fashion is danger. Posing at the bar. Posing sitting down. Posing in the distance. Posing with my arm. Posing with my leg. Posing like a swan. Posing for a portrait. Posing a threat. Hey, yeah. Ooh, you think you know fashion? Well, fashion's a stranger. Fashion's your friend, my friend. Fashion is danger. Moscow, Berlin, Paris, London, Tokyo, Wellington, Rome, Geneva, New York City. New York City. Ooh, you think you know fashion? Well, fashion's a stranger. You think fashion's your friend, my friend. Fashion Fashion is danger. Fashion. 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 Fashion.
It has its moments, man. He's scared to death.